Hey everyone, today is the 26th of April and we are meeting for the CI/CD UX meeting. And today I'm filling in for Hannah, and let's start with the stunning topics and FYIs. So I'll mention like the important items. So first is Hannah is going to be back next week on Monday. And next week on Thursday, we have our very first design review meeting. So that's great. And anybody who wants to volunteer to share a problem with the team for design feedback, please add it to the agenda in advance. The agenda can be found in the calendar invite, so it's probably not the same one. It's a different one. Then the next one is by Sunjung. Sunjung, do you want to vocalize that?
Yeah, but it's more like a FYI or read-only item, but I
Okay.
got this information from the CI/CD catalog project that like we redefined this name because I'm working on the experiment phase of the feature, so probably it might affect to other maybe AI project or your new feature. So I think it's just good to know because if we name it using the experiment batch, because I was using the alpha before, but I had to change the experiment. And then there are another note from Seed recently that like, so all features are should be just public. I think that part is also added at the very end of the doc. So just wanted to share with you all.
Thanks for making a mention of that. I saw like it was mentioned that it just slows us down when we release a feature only internally. Moving, does anyone have any other points for the FYI section? Or we can just, okay, we'll just move on to the other agenda items. The first one is by Ali. He, I think, is not on the call, so I'll quickly verbalize. He has thanked everyone for the reviews on the minimal onboarding design flow. And he's working on incorporating all the changes. And I can totally understand, like, there are so many comments. So it's definitely going to take some time. Does anyone have, oh, Ali, you're here. Do you want to take it up, your item? Sorry for throwing that on you, like so suddenly.
Welcome.
I think Ali was still connecting to audio, so he might have not heard you.
Okay. Okay. Ali, I was just mentioning that I was kind of covering your items for you. Do you want to take it up and vocalize them?
Okay, cool. Sorry, I didn't realize you
No
guys got
problem.
that far already. I wanted to say thank you for everyone for their reviews and feedback. I'm working on incorporating them, and yeah, well, currently working on improvements.
Yeah. Just wanted to mention like great work there. And we understand like how many feedback there are on the issues now and the time it's going to take you to incorporate those. Moving on to Gina. She is out of office today and they'll still be holding sessions for the solution validation for runner fleet dashboard. Does anyone have any comments on the runner fleet dashboard validation? If not, then I'll pass it on to Emily.
So my main focus this past week has been planning for a design sprint within environments. We want to kind of rethink environments as like a deployment tool. So just, I don't know if all of you know, but I used to run design sprints and teach how to do design sprints at my previous company. So I'm taking the time while planning for this to help fix up some of our templates, get everything organized. So might have weighted this a little low given kind of some of the stuff we're having to do, but hoping to have that complete before. I guess this will be my next tip is I'll be out of office for 2 weeks starting May 12th. So my covered issue is there. But yeah. Oh, see, there's Vitika has a question or comment.
Yeah, when you mentioned about like relooking at this whole experience of environments and deployment, it kind of reminded me about the secrets manager, like native solution for secrets management. And I'm just curious that how you and your team have talked about it, that while you are looking at this bigger effort, that's definitely going to take some time. In that meanwhile, how do you plan to look at the smaller improvements to this area?
Yeah, so that's a really good question. We're hoping that actually the design sprint, like day one, will really help our focus in what we're going to be kind of going into. And some of the takeaways of this will actually be to have, I think it's like 3 or 4, I'd have to double check, but issues that are ready for development to take on. So while we are looking at kind of reimagining the whole experience, we're also looking at getting out smaller issues to kind of work our way there, if that makes, I hope, is that the question you're kind of looking for?
It is. I mean, I understand that there couldn't be a very like structured answer to this because it's something that we just like explore and figure out. But it's good to see another fellow designer in the same position and just to get inspiration from.
Yeah, and I'll be recording all the sessions for this too, so I'll be able to share those out. I think we're looking at hosting this like the first or second week of June and having it run for a week and a half with split async and sync periods. So still trying to figure out how everything works together. But hopefully we'll be able to share the process, and maybe it's something other designers can kind of take on as well.
Nice, thanks. Does anyone else have any questions for Emily?
I would like to be included in those design sprints. That's a note. And then the other thing is just, I had created that deck that highlighted the trouble with variables and environment.
Sorry, my maintenance people just came, so I will be right back.
Okay. Well, I had created that deck for y'all, and I will link it here. It's just that we have not been like listening intentionally for, but have kept hearing about this pain point related to variables and environments. And so when that happens, that's an indicator that that's something that's particularly painful, right? So I just wanted to be a part of that design sprint, but also to like elevate that deck again, which I will link as soon as I can find it. Cool.
Great, thanks, Erica. I'll also keep an eye out for that, because I mean the changes that we are making,
yeah,
it's related to deployments, it's related to environments. So
yeah, and I think we want to make sure that this is like the beauty of this meeting and this team, right? Is like, let's make sure that that experience cross-functionally is working. I'll link the deck. Welcome back.
Thanks. All right. So the next item is I wanted to share like the progress that we are making on the Beautifying UI 16.1, which is going to start in the next milestone. So Peyton and I, we met to do a small prioritization exercise, because if you look at the issue, there were a lot of issues shared with us, many epics. So we just like went through the list and picked up items that we can work on with the time limitation, and which also makes sense to work on with all the current priorities. We like put aside a bunch of issues, then we plotted a chart of like what's going to be impactful and visible, because it's beautifying UI literally, and then we plotted that against how much time it's going to take and how much time we have. And you'll see like in the description, I've updated the table of the things we're working on. Most are like small but impactful improvements, but there are 2 that would require some design work, which is the last 2 in the table. One is unboxing pipeline detail page, which is kind of ambitious, but we'll still like give it a try. And the other one is rearranging the tabular layout on the jobs list view to match the pipeline list view. If you like compare the 2 today, there is a difference in style, and there's also a difference in how we are organizing data. The jobs view has like so many columns, which just makes it difficult to, when we like change the viewport size, it doesn't look very elegant, the kind of shifts that happen there. That's one. And everything else is just like regular stage group work. So I'll talk about that in some other meeting. If nobody has a question or comment, I'll like pass it on to Sunjung.
I have one comment. I'm trying to
Okay.
find, I'm distracted by trying to find the link. I did this analysis of the stuff verbatim for the last 2 quarters, which will come out at the end of this week, the report. But part of that was identifying paper cuts. Some of you got pulled into the issue. Yeah, and so I created an issue, and the idea was just to get verification from the team about whether or not it was a paper cut. But bless them if they didn't just start thinking about how to fix those things. But I wanted to call it out because some of them are small things that relate specifically to pipelines and those pipeline views. So Vithika, as soon as I can find the issue, it might be worth like just kind of scanning to see if when you and Peyton do that work, if there's any other little things you can support. And maybe that team would pick them up, or you can get a little help. So there's that.
Yeah, definitely. So we were a little conservative with our planning because,
Yeah.
I mean, we just did not want to overpromise. But I have this hunch that we would, in fact, have some time to spare, and we can definitely squeeze in some small MRs then. Okay. Sunjung.
Thanks, Vitika. So there's one excited moment for me and for the team was the detailed page of the catalog has been shipped and is being reviewed. And I believe we are ready to break things down for the implementation. So the front end team is working on like how can we break things down, starting to communicate it with the back end team, just the usual development flow. So I think we're good. If you check the issue, we got a lot of feedback. That was really exciting, and also the design is done. So I think the team is ready to work on this on 16.1 until 16.2. So that's exciting. And the other piece that I like to share with you is like Marcel, who is our amazing tech writer, is working on the very initial onboarding flow, let's say for less experienced user who haven't created any pipeline so far. And then if you check this example review app, like this is targeted for those audience. And then like I just tried this out by myself. Like it was so nice and it was so helpful. Like he put all the like comments just next to each YAML syntax. What does this means? And then you'd expect to see some failure text after running this because of this reason. Oh, sorry. So we're just working on this type of guidance. So I was excited, and I was excited to be his guinea pig because I made some trouble. But yeah, so it's yes, the Docusaurus, and then they have
Yeah.
really cute dinosaur icons. So that was exciting when I successfully build the pages on my namespace. Like, this is cute. Like really big dinosaurs were on the page. So I think it's a good
Nice.
example. And FYI, I'm out for 2 weeks and coming back on May 15. I edit my coverage issue, and yeah, that's it for me. So Hayana is not here, so maybe Vitika, you can verbalize your comment. If you don't
Sure.
have any other questions, sorry.
Okay,
Sure.
looks like we are clear. So if we are being pinged in the community contributions for package, we need to assign that to Pedro because he's, I think, covering for stage groups that don't have a designer. And here are the like changes that were made to the merge request review in relation to that. All right, with that, we are kind of through with the product design items, and now passing it on to Will and Erica.
Thanks, Viveka. So starting to wrap up and hand off projects to others before my leave starts in a couple weeks. So I've added my parental leave issue above and also to the template since it will go on for a period of time. And then I'm also going to be making a Q2 research prioritization issue. A lot of it is going to be carried over from what hasn't been completed in Q1 because teams have been pretty proactive about letting me know what research needs they have. So I'll ping Emily and Ollie and many others that I work with when that gets created. Also wanted to shout out Erica for supporting Emily with recruiting for her solution validation study. I just wanted to thank you for joining in on that comment thread and really helping support her with recruiting.
How's it going, Emily? That was one of my questions. I was like, is it working? Yeah. Oh, you're muted.
There's a vacuum, I think, so she'll be muted.
Oh, got it. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So thumbs up. That's good.
All right. Yeah, I'm like very interested in the progress because I'm going to come to you soon, Erica, for
Okay.
recruitment.
Yep. And I think with our big success this quarter will be that you guys can sort of drive that and be more self-serving, or that sounds funny, but yes, be able to get access to those participants. So Vivek, if you anticipate like in 2 weeks starting to need that participant pool, we should be asking Caitlin for a push now. And then that way you guys aren't like in a spot where you're like, no, I need this participant. No, I need this participant. Okay.
Yeah, I'll do that.
And then my last comment is that I reviewed Ollie's minimal onboarding design, I think maybe sometime last week, and gave some feedback. I really appreciate you putting those screens together. I think Viveka had spoken to this before, but there's no prior designs to just clearly leverage. So that's incredibly difficult to just try to create something from scratch. And I think it was smart to open it up to feedback from the whole UX team and also bring it into the UX showcase to get some additional feedback and comments. So I think that's all I had.
All right, Erica.
I did not make notes yet. I can't believe I can't find this paper cuts issue, but anyway.
No problem.
I'm like, there's gotta be a way. I'm
Um,
like, anyway, but I want to talk about, I am doing meetings with everyone because we kind of like had that benchmark stuff. And so there wasn't any way to juggle in new research topics because that took up a lot of time. So I'm setting up one-on-one meetings like really next week and the week after to make sure that we have scoped out like forward-looking research projects. And then my research prioritization issue will get finalized on May 10th. So just a note that that hasn't been finalized. And then what I was out, but I saw that there's a thread talking about naming for the catalog components. And we did have an issue for that, but it's silver. And so that means that Dove drives it. So I did collect like a little bit of data for him that he can use, but it was very narrowly focused on like how we name the group of components. And so and that's already been done for him. Yeah. So I did that for him, but I don't have the agility to like do it again in an easy way. And it's also a silver project, so he should drive it. Does that make sense? So I saw that there's a thread with Christy, and I like don't know what to like quite what to do. Like, because you were like, oh, this is happening, and I'm like, oh, is it happening? I don't know. So anyway, I just wanted to note that I'm not driving that project. And I did as that's what I always am trying to help. So I did try to help by getting a little bit of feedback just on those two, like how do we name a group of components? But if we wanted to do other research, that needs to be like blown up and reprioritized and going through that process. So I just thought it would be good to talk about that. Because I'm probably not going to chime in on the Slack thread because I feel like that's one of those things we don't really need to like surface it. Like that goes, it's in Dove's court. Okay. Well, that seems like the right thing to think about, like face to face. Okay. And then another thing that we're doing is we're working on the CI components alpha, which we can't even call it that because we've now like changed what that means. So it's now like we're pre-experimentation, but we have people coming in and they're using a sample project to use a CI component. And we looked at their satisfaction with the CI templates and then across assignments. And so they were more satisfied. So it's really good. Like I was a little nervous, like, what if they're not satisfied? Then we have to do all this other work. But they're looking like they're satisfied. So we now know that we're ready to take the next steps. But so we did like scaffold their approach in that assignment where they used the sample project. So then what we need to do is then like break out how we scaffolded that and then make sure that's happening in the catalog view when we're ready. Yeah. Okay.
Is there any like for these sessions that are happening where users are coming in and testing the CI components, is there a video we can watch like of them trying stuff?
Yeah, we're not what we did is we gave them assignments.
Okay.
Once I saw Dove has just so much happening that I'm just like trying to make it quick and easy. So I'm running the interviews, but actually we gave them a survey format of the assignment. And we actually have one video where they made a video themselves and shared it. But we kind of are just getting more of their self-reports and then we're doing follow-up. So it's not as neat as being able to watch them use it.
Got it. I wonder if there was a solution like user testing, but something that we can control and not really like go through their recruitment channels.
Yeah.
And we can share the link, but that way everything would be recorded.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, by having them use it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a good idea.
Yeah. Because they might not be mentioning a few things which might be worth observing is what I'm thinking.
Yeah, well, this was easy enough where basically we put the links on the include syntax in the README files. So it was pretty easy. So I think, but it delivers on the concept of being able to use include to kind of get the components in your pipeline.
Right.
But I don't think it would be like quite worth it. But that's a really good idea to keep in mind, like as we move forward, and include more participants. Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, I just find it funny that how important include is, and like when it was initially launched, nobody sort of, I won't say nobody, but most people did not realize the importance of it. It's powerful.
And Erica, regarding the naming research, like we have a lot of research already like open for just for the catalog project. So we need to discuss the priority. And I'm not so sure about the priority itself because like it's on Dove's plate. So we can discuss.
All right. Does anyone have anything else to mention? If not, then we can just wrap it up and we can get back to our own things and save some time. All right. It was nice talking to all of you. Thank you.
For
Bye.
hosting.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.